Hello, beautiful people!
Hey.
Episode number 5, I believe. I keep saying wrong numbers, but let's say this is the 5th one. If you just tune in and you have no idea what's happening and what is going on, you're tuned in to Space to Elevate. My name is Ella Papier, and here we have a platform for creatives to talk about the journey, to talk about good and bad, to have a little food for thought, and we're all in this together. So this is the way that we can maybe get some inspiration, maybe get some help, maybe just get something that's gonna keep us motivated and keep going. So we're back with interviews. Today my guest had the shortest journey to get to the living room because it's also her living room.
I live here, guys. Yeah.
So today my guest is Gabi. And me and Gabi met, I believe 2 or 3 years ago when we both joined the In the House mentorship. So we trained together for quite a long time, and then we moved in together for quite a long time. We moved in together last year, and I really wanted to invite Gabi here because she has a very interesting journey. I think it's something a little bit different to what we've been talking about here so far. So I think it will be nice for you listeners and viewers to maybe hear a different side of the dancer world and what is more there to do about dance and just different ways to go about it. So I invited Gabi to come to the living room, sit down with me and tell me and you a little bit about her journey. So, hello.
Hi.
I would like to firstly maybe actually, let me ask this question.
Go on.
For people who don't know you, how would you describe yourself? Who is Gabi?
Human.
Yes.
No, if I introduce myself professionally, even in different settings, I always say that I am doing 1,000,001 different things, I guess. And I'm still at this point where it's hard for me to pinpoint what is my main thing. I always say that I am a producer, facilitator, creative. I wear many different hats in the dance world, in the dance industry. Mainly working within dance.
Beautiful. We love many hats. I definitely understand.
Why?
I'm definitely on the same vibe. So, when did you decide to move to London? What made you do that step? Because Gabi is originally from Lithuania. And what made you do this leap?
I wanted to study dance, and in my country it is possible, but I think it's going more through the lens of classical dance and classical training, which I never had. Come from hip hop world, everyone. And I started dancing very late. I was 12 or 13, and so basically I was a lost case in everyone's eyes. Everyone was like, she dancing, going to study dance, what a loss. And I was like, yeah, watch me. So I just had to go abroad. That was the only option that I saw as viable, to make things happen and to do what I wanted to do. And at that point I was just UK is the only place, just because everyone here speaks in English, and I was like, I cannot learn another language on top of the languages that I was learning already. So I was like, UK it is. And I spent 3 years studying at Guildford School of Acting / Surrey, and BA dance. Yeah. More about that soon, if anyone asks. Don't.
Okay, stop.
Yeah,
We want to know.
No, I think I generally think when I was choosing my path as a very young adult, I was only 18 at that point, making a big decision. And you need to make that decision. I believe people who came from abroad to study here will know that you need to start thinking about it 2 years before you go. You need to start applying, passing some language tests, proving your grades, because it's a very different system. So you need to know in advance how you're moving, where you're moving, and make sure that everything is prepared, right? So this decision was made when I was 16, and okay. Now looking back, I'm a little bit I think it wasn't fully clear what my degree is about. And I think many of my, even people who were not from abroad, even people who were from the UK, they came into a university hoping to study a lot of dance, right? And many of whom wanted to become performers. And then they realized that it's like not a place for that. And I just think that it wasn't fully communicated. And yeah, like now I know. Now I'm like, you want to be a performer, go to a conservatoire, you know? Or like, you're going to do a theoretical degree. Or if you go to university, you will do a lot of research, which can be physical, but it's a degree. Like you're studying. You're
so your school was more theoretical, you would say, or
I think half and half. But I think people had ideas that they can still leave this degree, and I'm not saying that people cannot be performers, but what I'm saying is the degree itself didn't give enough physical practice for someone to have the right stamina and right requirements to like fit in the industry, because the standard is high, competition is huge, right? We all know, right? So I think we were just a bunch of like very young kids, and many of whom dropped out and like went somewhere else, and many of those who graduated, they are still working within the dance industry, but I think we took on very different roles from what we initially imagined. And by the way, I was never planning to be a performer. I don't really like, I have a strange relationship with stage. I don't really like being on stage.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So for me, it was dance. I'm like driven by it, interested in it, love observing it. But yeah, I'm still like discovering where I sit the best, I guess. So yeah, so that's
who would you say that school that you did, who would you say would be the best for?
So that degree is actually now gone. Like they're not doing it anymore. So when I was graduating, they told everyone that they are gonna make that degree disappear. Basically, they're not taking more applications or more
so they told you that while you were there?
Like when I was graduating, I found out. Like it was actually a really good degree in a sense that it was the only, like, I think not the only one, but I think one of a very few degrees where they actually cared about like your body embodying a dance form, and like your body taking the dance form and not coming to you and saying your body must do these things because this is a form. So it's called somatic practice. So they were working from the body to see like how the form sits on it, rather than the other way around, which we usually know, which is like push your body, like be horrible to yourself, like sprain your joints, you know, like do all of that to like achieve what we want to see. And they didn't work for that, and I really respected that, because I didn't have classical training before I came to university. So for me it was like another roller coaster of a journey. But yeah, so for whom it would be the best, I think there are quite many people actually right now in the dance industry who work in facilitator, producer, lecturer, type of roles, who actually I found out are from Surrey, you know? And I was like, yo, because like the lecturers we had, inspirational, beautiful. Like a few of them seriously like inspired me to do so much, and actually supported me in what I was passionate about, which was hip hop. I was the only like hip hop head in the course, and it sometimes felt strange, but it felt so amazing to be like encouraged to do what I was like interested in, and I really really respect them for that. So I'm not saying don't do the course, you cannot do the course, so of course you won't, but what I'm saying is like before jumping and like signing for 3 years of doing something, just know very well where you're going into. And I think like I was understanding that while being there, and because I commit to things and I finish things, I finished this one, and I'm glad, but I wouldn't do it again. Let's just say that.
This is always interesting for me, because I've never obviously done any course or any school, any dance schools. So how did you feel for 3 years being committed to that place and that education?
You know, I think I was a little bit unconscious about my existence at that point. Like I was very clear, like these are my goals and this is what I'm gonna do, and I didn't question anything a lot. So I think I enjoyed it because there was space for me to do the things that I wanted to do. So for example, like in third year, I was co-running like a dance company with one of my course mates. We were the artistic directors and stuff, and we were able to produce like an evening length show, and we were able to like direct people and work with very amazing individuals and dancers. It was called Actual Size Dance Company, and it was dope. Like there was space for me to like find the, you know, my little pots of happiness, and I received the support. So like for that, I think it kept me going, like the creative part and like the directing part, and then I was able to deal with like the amount of like information that I had to read, books that I had to read, articles, like, and let's be real, as a foreigner, I don't know if anyone has the same experience, but when you're reading those like scholarly research articles, honestly guys, for first year and a half, I couldn't even understand what I'm reading. I'm like,
I have so much respect for you for doing that, like, because I couldn't even imagine.
No, it's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the amount of, like, very smart words that people use to just explain the most basic stuff ever. I was just like, this is long, you know? And I was like, I signed up for dance. What is this madness?
It's like you have to read a long thing, and then you have to read a long explanation of one word in this thing.
Yeah. Like, I think the only thing that saved my life and made me had a good degree in university was thesaurus. Like, it saved my ass.
Nice.
Honestly.
Would you say that because you were there, it kind of sparked your thinking about maybe becoming a producer or maybe doing stuff like this? Did they kind of any influence?
I think the part where you have to handle like a lot of information and make things happen, and I think that was mainly because of even extracurricular activities that I was doing. It was just generally like, oh, you have the space and you have the people, do you want to do anything? And I would be like, yeah. So it, because I wanted to do something, and because like I felt like we don't dance enough in our course, just like from my personal perspective, I was like, it's not enough training. So we were just doing a lot of different things. And I think because we wanted to make things happen, we had to like count and do a budget and talk to certain people and write certain emails. And it's funny because I didn't know how to write emails in the United Kingdom at that point. So I didn't know like all the language and all of the phrases that people say. I was just like, wow, these are long. They're always checking like if I hope you're well. I'm like, why do they do that? Well. Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not well. No, but that's the thing. Like, those are the things that you learn, and you will see me doing them as well. Like, I think you've seen some emails that I've sent. So now it seems easy, and now I couldn't transfer in my own language. Like, I couldn't write an email in Lithuanian. Like, I have no clue how the phrasing works. How like, it's not that I cannot write. It's just more like I don't have it's not ingrained in me like how to chat with people via email in my own language. Yeah. Crazy, right?
Nice.
So I think because of those experiences, I was a bit like, I wasn't scared of organizing. So I think that came in through it.
How did you feel when you graduated? What was happening then?
I got my certificate. I almost fell off my heels when receiving it. I wore very high heels just because I was like, now or never. and yeah, never doing that again. I felt good for like a day. Then I went on a little holiday. I felt good. And then I came back and I moved to London actually. So before my graduation, I moved to London. That was my choice. I was like, I was in Guildford, so just outside London, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go big, go London. And then when I came back after that little holiday and I sat down and I was like, I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen next in my life. I was like, oh my god, what is next? Oh my god, I don't have a job. This is a very expensive city. Oh my god. So like that started, right? And I was like, oh my god, shut up. Like, you will figure it out, But I panicked so much that, like, day and night I was looking for jobs. And I was like, I was ready. Like, I was saying to myself, you will not go to do a job where there is like no creative practice. I was just telling myself, come on, like you just graduated. It was 3 hard years. You cannot just like, you know, go and work somewhere that is not related to your degree. So I had this promise to myself, and so, but I panicked. I panicked and I looked for jobs day and night, and I applied to 1,000,001 jobs. I emailed so many agencies, and because I'm like another white girl with blue eyes, you know, like no one really was interested, and a recent graduate with no experience as well, like many factors, right? No networks in the industry yet. So I was just like another person who doesn't know where they are and don't know where to go first. So yeah, it was stress.
Did you find a job? Did you find a job with
after
creative
2
practice?
weeks. Yeah, after 2 weeks. But I started working as a youth worker and as a dance facilitator in a youth zone in East London, which was a really nice workplace, like really nice. But again, after some time, I realized, okay, it's not for me.
Yeah.
And it took me a while because I wanted to do something more within the organization, and then I got a maternity cover for like arts coordinator, and it was really dope. Like doing that was really nice. It was a lot of coordinating, a lot of like budgeting, a lot of many different activities happening at the same time. Like that building had like 200 young people coming in every evening before Corona. And I was responsible for like music and media room, arts room, dance studio, what else? Beauty room. Like there were so many things happening at the same time, and so many teams I had to manage, and many people on whose skill sets I depended. So like, because I am not a music specialist, right? I have no clue about beauty and like manicures and all of that jazz, but I had an amazing team, and yeah, we were driving the
Awesome.
arts offer.
I really like what you said before about like I finished the degree and I panicked, but I promised myself I'm gonna find a job that's a creative one. And you did. And even if the surrounding was crazy and instead of million emails, like you still managed to find that. That's really, really cool. And how did you, in that job when you were there, how did you manage to take care of yourself as a dancer as well within that time as well?
I didn't. Like I was honestly, I was overwhelmed because I took a full-time job and I was still freelancing, supporting some creative companies with like admin support, and I was overworked, I was tired, I was also trying to train at the same time. So like that's, for example, why I was like always late to things, because I was traveling from far away. I lived in zone 5. It was far, man. And it was just, everything seemed like a mess, but at the same time I felt like I must keep going with all of that I was doing. But again, this comes from like me not understanding and not knowing what I want, how do I want to prioritize it. I felt like I need to prove something as well, because there was some pressure from not actually my family back home, but like more of this whole motivation that I left school with, that everyone was saying that I'm a dumbass, that I'm just going to study arts, and I was just like, yo, like, leave me alone at that time. But I think it like somewhere it resonated, and it still kept that negative thing going on, and I was like, yeah, we'll prove everything, you know. And now I'm just like looking back and I'm like, Jesus, chill out, just like take a nap or something, you know.
Nice.
But yeah, so I was all over the place. I was doing everything, and I wasn't able to like understand. And as I said, I'm still like going through that process, but I feel much more where I should be.
Yeah. I feel like also that like I feel like you were doing it in the similar age that I did, because of when you went to school, boy, you were like 19, right?
18,
when did you,
yeah.
18, 19 to 21, right? You did
Yeah.
a degree. I moved to London when I was 21, and just like at the 21 to 24, 5, you just go ham on everything. You just do, and you just keep going, and you just basically kill yourself a little bit,
Yeah.
and then there comes a moment you're like, wait, what am I actually doing and why?
Yeah.
Because I've been just doing all of this stuff, and what did it give me? Where can I go with it? What can I do about it, to be honest?
Yeah, I think I very recently had a realization, like not that recently, but like a year ago, let's say, where I was like, I just don't want to live like this. I just don't want to live like this. It's not serving me, and I'm not serving others when I'm like continuously overworked, stressed, and like as a close friend, and also like we worked together on like organizing some things. Like you, for example, see how certain situations make me feel tense or like how anxious I become, and it's because I don't have emotional resilience, because I'm constantly tired, and that's what I was like. I just don't believe life is that. So right now I'm just like.
And
nah.
how did you, when, like, what happened for you when you left that full-time job and you became a full what do you call
Employed?
self-employed? Yeah. You started
Um,
working for yourself, basically.
yeah. I think that was a big shift. It was a big shift because I then realized that I really like security, and I was like, I just did the opposite of that. Why did I do that? So the first like month or two, I had savings, and I was like, everything is gonna be okay. But then, cha-ching, the same thing happened. Like before, I moved closer to the city center. It became more expensive, and I was like, well, I do not have a job, right? Or I had one job, but I was like, that is not enough to live in London and to feel financially secure, and for everything to be okay. Because in my head, like if there is like no savings, no something that will keep me safe in like a bad day, I'm like, ooh, I don't feel comfortable. Don't know about you guys, but I don't feel comfortable. So straight away I was again like, I need to find my way, like to make myself feel comfortable in this. And yeah, took a while. Now
It didn't took you that long as well to find the job, right? Was it
no.
what, like a month, few weeks, whatever?
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the first time you said it, but you panicked and within 2 weeks you find a job.
Yeah, but I think
So-
this one was much more directed. Like much more directed, because I was like, so I work as an assistant producer for Far From the Norm, and that company, like when I was in my, I think second year of uni, me and my course mate, we went to see them performing at Sadler's Wells, 20-minute piece of Black Dog at that time. And my jaw just dropped. I was like, I was fully convinced. I was like, this is the future. I was like, oh my God, this is the best company ever. And since then I followed their work, and I also wrote my dissertation about Black Dog. And so I was very like, yo, like I look up to this company and like how they work, their style, etc. And I remember then I realized that I am good at helping, like just generally supporting, helping someone's idea. And then they opened the position of assistant producer, and I was like, I want to try, you know. And yeah, now I'm working with them, and it was like it was a very, very big thing for me, because I really wanted it. Like,
Yeah,
really
and
wanted it.
like I've been watching that process as well, so you guys don't even know, but it's been so nice to watch the fact that this happened in that time as well. Like it was a little bit meant to be for a second, because like you were saying that this is the job I really, really, really want. You did apply for some others as well, right? Or like just were looking at other things.
I was
as well.
looking at others, but it was interesting. Like it was the end of summer, I remember, and so many organizations like were dropping jobs, and some of them were like really well paid and everything, and or they were within an organization. And I was looking at all of those applications, and I was like, I should like apply to all of them. And then I was like, but do you really want to do these jobs? And I was like, no, I just want that one. And then I was like, okay, so just apply for that one. And then if you don't get it, you will figure it out.
Yeah.
Like you will. And I did, and it was great.
Yeah. And it's so nice as well, like the fact that you saw the company, you knew them, and like you really wanted to work for them, and it kind of, you know, like it just happened, like the universe just
yeah 100
put two and two together.
100. Yeah.
Nice. How did it feel to switch that from being a full-time person and far away in another world, zone 5 to being here and still working crazy because it's London. We have to work crazy in London. But how did you feel when you started doing that?
Free, more free. Like in a sense, like I'm not saying that it was like requiring less. Like it was still work. It was still like learning to work with new people as well, like learning new systems, understanding how things work, how people prefer to be communicated to, like just basically just generally it's a new world, right? Like when you're a freelancer, I feel like everything is based on your network in some way. Like you build trust and relationships with certain people, and it's beautiful in that sense because it's freeing. You have more freedom to choose like which projects you work on, and for me, like it's very important to work on something I believe in, because if I don't, I'm not gonna do a good job. So that's why I'm not even taking projects I don't believe in. If I can. No, like I do, like seriously, like the ones that I work on right now, I'm like, yes, this will be good. We will make it good. And I really hope that I don't have to do jobs which I don't believe in.
And I think one thing you said that is very important is that when you're a freelancer, you work on your social network or just like network, like it's very important. And I think like we don't really talk about it enough, us like self-employed dancers. I would speak especially in the commercial industry. It just kind of becomes like, okay, I'm going to wait for my agent, or I'm going to go to the same places, you know, and just have the same people around me. And sometimes you never know who you can meet in a new place, you know. I believe like your network of people you know as a freelancer, self-employed is super important. And for me, it got me so many jobs, so many opportunities just from meeting people from different I don't want to say different aspects of that, different worlds in dance, within dance, you know, different industries, different approaches to dance. You know, you go meet in a theatre, in the commercial industry, in freestyle, like you never know basically. And I feel like we are self-employed, so it's very much on self. Yes, people would like hire you for things here and there, but you are the product basically that you want people to get. So you kind of need to be presentable to different people.
Yeah, and I think like what we tend to do when we are young in the industry, when we don't understand the industry, and I'm not saying that I fully understand it, like my world is much more like underground battles and theater world and all of that jazz. Like I don't really dip into the commercial scene, as you say, but I think what I see many people and artists doing is like we stay within our circles, and that's a problem. Because if you need someone to fund your project, you're not gonna find it in your dancer friends usually, unless they're like rich for whatever reason, because usually they walked out of their circle, you know. So that's the thing.
TikTok.
But that's the thing, like we should be thinking, if tomorrow I want to work on this project, let's say someone gives you money, like who are you gonna work with? Like who will be your videographer? Who will be your producer? Who can you ask for this support, that support? Who can you pay for that? It's like, I don't know, maybe that's a producer brain when you start thinking, oh, I can rely on these organizations, or I can get help here, I can get support there, I can get advice here. Just because like then you start navigating yourself very differently, and as you said, think of yourself as a brand rather than I'm just dancing and waiting for someone to hire me. We all know it doesn't work that way. It's work. It's like,
and I feel like a lot of times when we think like, oh, think about yourself as a brand, a lot of people have this like hair like just going like this at the back, because no, I'm an artist, I'm not a brand. But your what you do, your artistic self, is a brand in a way as well. Like you as a person, your authentic self, because people also hire you as a person. They want you for your talent, but they also rely on how you work, who you are, what you can bring to the table. So I feel like there's a lot of aspects that if we want to work as a dancer, we have to stop being this, I'm just a dancer.
No, you're not. You're like, you're amazing. Like that's the thing.
Exactly.
You're doing so many things.
Own your freaking awesomeness, and you know, step up the game as being like, yes, I'm great, and I feel like I want to work from that. So why don't I feel like this? You know, it's kind of like you want people to see you and want to hire you.
Yeah,
A little bit.
but it's also like it's also where support comes in, I guess,
Yes.
because because so many artists are amazing within their art and what they do, but they have no interest in like marketing themselves, making networks, and they have amazing visions, but they don't know how to make them come true.
Yeah.
Right, themselves, or like
Yeah.
they know how to make it come true, but like the logistics of it will step in your way.
Yeah.
And that's where producer comes in. Like the producer will
Yeah.
be your bag of networks. As horrible as that, horrible,
awesome.
no, that actually sounds really
epic.
good. Exactly, good offer, right? So like you kind of trust your producer to build the vision together with you, I guess. And from conversations between you two, the producer understands where you want to go, and then they will make it happen. Like that's how I see it. Of course, it's a long process. It's not as easy as it sounds, but I think some of that work can be passed to other people once you like grew your practice.
Nice.
And it comes at some point. Yeah.
And if you could say in like few sentences, what does it mean to be a producer for dance?
I think there are, so if we would look at producing, like for me, producing is making things happen. Like that's the simplest explanation that I can give. And in very different contexts, the role is very different. So for example, if you're working for a big organization, or like you have maybe your own producing, I don't even know, practice, how to say it, like you're a freelancer, you have your own business, whatever. Usually when you're very experienced, I feel, you start making visions rather than working on logistics. So like you have a good knowledge of like how things work, but you're more like, this artist needs to be there and this is how we will make it happen. But what I do right now, for example, I take a lot of care of logistics and like working from the zero. So like building the first budgets, thinking of like where to get the first income, applying for funds, for opportunities, for like funding. And so it's very different on a scale that you work in and on an organization that you work in. So it really depends, and depends again in the industry. We have commercial, we have theater, right? We have any other type of representation that someone might want. And producer is different than like a PR or PA or I think that sometimes people think that you can make a producer your PA in certain contexts, and PA is a personal assistant, and I'm like, it's not that. Like unless someone is happy to do that, great, but it's not that. It's different. So yeah, depends.
Awesome. And when did you started thinking that this is something like you want to do?
Last summer.
I just started thinking about it last summer, then I got it.
No, it's not that I got it. It's like I think I was kind of doing bits of it and not understanding what the definition of it is. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, so what I do, producers do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, I need to learn more.
But that's amazing what you just said, and I feel like this is what shows that sometimes life is like kind of the universe is doing things for us a little bit. Because like even with me with coaching, like I didn't even know I started doing it without knowing, and then I was the same, like let me learn more about it, you know. Like it's so amazing to like step into this role. And you guys don't know, but Gabby's talking about producing for one company, but she's secretly producing like 7 other things on the side as well. So it's like it's not that it's just one thing.
Yeah, it's multiple, but I think it's hard for me to, as you say, describe exactly what a producer is. It's hard yet for me to pinpoint like where I am. Like I'm very early in my career, so I'm just learning a lot. I'm on a course right now, hoping that it will help me. And yeah, I'm very privileged to be around experienced producers and see how they think and how they work and learn from them. Like I think like working with Lee, for example, is amazing because I can see like how she makes decisions and how she handles very difficult situations where I would just like go like this, you know. So it's training in process. It's training.
Awesome training. I think like it was a nice thing to hear about, because I didn't even know that there is a job like this. I didn't even know when I moved to London that you could do this. I feel like for me,
Neither.
this is very interesting because this is also another thing. For me, I love organizing things as well. So I think if my life will go differently, there will be something I'll be also interested in. So I think it's nice to find that there is more within dance than just to be a physical dancer. If you are a physical dancer, but you also have another interest, like for example, or another skills like organization, or you're interested about it, you like making shit happen.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a nice way you can go to, and it's something I can think about within your future, because
Yeah.
we all know that dance is gonna, like, at some point we're gonna be 40 and crunchy, and like it's there is a moment that every dancer has, like, what am I going to do next, right? What am I going to do about it? So I think it's nice to see there's different paths to expand within what you do.
Yeah, and honestly, like, because you are within an industry, you're surrounded by it. You know what's up. You know what's good, what's bad, what's legit, what's not. Like you start getting that understanding, which no one else has. So there are actually so many roles within the industry, and your knowledge is the knowledge that so many people from outside actually want, which we don't realize, because like big organizations are looking for things to be happening, right? And they want it to be legit. So they will go within the industry and try to hire consultants or advisors who have been around, who know what's up. And like, I'm just saying, like, never disregard your knowledge of where you are. It's so important. And sometimes I'm like, people don't think that it's important to be a part of the community, and I'm like, that is like the best part about it, because you're socializing, you're having fun, you're training and improving, and at the same time you also have the insight. You know it inside out, right? Yeah. So I think, that's very valuable. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think this is a little mic drop, and we're gonna do a little break.
Shabam. And we're back. Cool. So we talked a lot about what you do in your job and what's your story, basically. I want to know more about Gabby as a dancer, because Gabby is a phenomenal freestyler, and I've been watching her grow for many years now, and it's been amazing. And if you see Gabby's video, she just go ham. Like, she looks so confident, strong, and powerful. I love watching you dance every time, and I just want to ask you, like, what did you have to overcome as a dancer so far on your journey?
I'm still overcoming. Like,
I think we all are, to be honest. Yeah.
Like, I think there is still so much like practicing to do, in a sense that every time if I go for a battle, or even ciphering sometimes is stressful, but I go through this whole emotional challenge every time, I guess. Like, I get really anxious to be there, and I think one of the things that I do, I pretend that I'm like really like, but I'm not that. I'm actually freaking out inside, and like,
this is what I'm talking about it, because like, if you see her videos, you're gonna see that power coming. But I know you, like, personally, so I wanna.
Yeah, it's a fear. It's a fear, and that's how it reflects. But so I think freestyling for me right now is joy, right? So for me it's my free time and my passion. Let's just say that's my hobby, right? So I am still yet to figure out how to not lose myself every time I am on stage, or like every time I'm in a battle. I think it's a bit different when I'm on a stage with a choreo in mind. I'm like, I just need to like not forget anything, which is, again, for me, like I'm really struggling to retain choreo for whatever reason. I sometimes just like go blank completely. And when there is a plan, I'm fine. But like, because I feel like freestyling is so open, it's so honest and so vulnerable, I'm not yet able to like mentally overcome the whole idea of like being there fully myself. And that's why sometimes like I employ, I think, different characters within me.
Okay, that's awesome.
And that's what helped my practice a little bit, to be like, okay, so this music is giving me this character vibe, and I have some characters created in my own head for my own like practice and freestyle, and I'm like, okay, this is what this character would do, this is what that character would do. And I think like sometimes that helps me to overcome my fear a little bit, because I'm like, okay, like I'm acting like that character, so it's not me, it's like it's them, you know. So I'm like I can do whatever. But yeah, I am still in the journey, still very raw and
That's sick.
overwhelmed.
Gabby's also training in 700 styles, so
Not 700. Hip hop is my main.
many.
House.
And then she goes through like splits and stuff.
Splits.
No, but I remember we went together to this festival and we did the 7 to smoke with the girls, and Gabby smashed everyone 700 times, no, 7 times. And I think what I wanted to ask you, for example, in that moment, because you won this one and obviously you smashed it, how did you feel then on stage?
It was cute.
It was cute, she says.
It was cute, but it was also
She won. It was cute.
Yeah, it was cute to win, just because at that point I was at like a big breaking point just generally in my life, because I remember I was like, I just quit one job. I was jobless at that point. Like that was my big transition from like one company to another, and I was just like, I was so like, I had to win. I was like, I really need to win, because like I seriously need the prize, and also I was just ready.
Yeah.
But at the same time I was like, there were so many amazing dancers in that 7 to smoke, you know, and because the audience got to judge, I was like, you can never know how like legit this is, but also I was just like, you know what,
Don't take
I'm just
away
gonna-
from your win. You
I'm
won
just
it, you
gonna
smashed
own
it.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna take
But
it.
it's so nice that you said it was like, it was a little bit connected to what was happening in your
Yeah.
in your personal too, that okay, like I need this, and you were honest with yourself, and that's super sick, you know, because sometimes we like tiptoeing around the thing, like, oh, be nice to win, be nice to do something,
Yeah.
but like to really
Like I think I do that a lot. I'm always like, oh, like I'm so afraid to lose sometimes that I'm just like, yeah, like I don't really care if this happens. I care. Like if I do something, usually I care very deeply, and I think by creating this like, oh, if that doesn't happen, then that's okay. I give up already, and I think that happens for me every time. Like for example, when I'm going into battles, I now have this mindset of like, overcome yourself. So for example, if I can keep my cool through a whole round and understand what I was doing, instead of just like blanking and then getting out of the battle and being like, I don't even remember what I did, like that for me is a win already. So it's very different. But I think again, when you do your homework and when you are ready, and you still like sometimes have this like, no, I will not win, you know, like I prepared so hard, but like I might win, I might not. I think like that is my problem, and maybe someone will resonate with this as well, because I think I sometimes make myself lose because before I even like took a shot. So I'm like, I already missed. I already missed before I even took it.
It's so cool what you said, and I think like it's dance wise, it's life wise, everything. You know, like we sometimes stop ourselves with this sabotaging thinking, you know, rather than visualizing ourselves winning, we try to protect ourselves from even thinking about it.
Yeah. It's painful. Like it feels shit to lose, right? But like nothing changes really.
Yeah.
So I would rather think that I will succeed from now on, you
Literally.
know. I'm like, I would rather think that I will succeed, because like I know how losing feels anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm not gaining anything new.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
It makes me think a little bit about like competition as an opportunity, right? Someone's organizing a competition, so it's giving you opportunity to win something, right? It's an opportunity that someone gives you in your hand. If you start like being afraid of this opportunity of winning because you have to do something to get there, it's that little internal sabotage, you know?
Yeah, 100. And sometimes you even win and you're still sabotaging yourself.
Yeah.
As you say. So yeah, it's a funny one, man. I think in dance there is a certain amount of like physical training that you can do, right? And you can always get physically better, but the mental aspect, man, it's like for me, I'm hitting my ceiling, because like I'm not gonna progress physically until I sort this out. So that's what I'm on. That's what I'm on.
This is what we on here. This is the best way to finish this, because that's what we on here.
Yeah, why not?
About the mental training, and it really unlocks everything. And like, oh my god, like I can talk about it for hours, but the more you unlock new doors in your head, that everything starts to connect. Even with my dance as well, I feel the same. It was always something in the brain that was stopping me, or something I was doing to myself with unconsciously, you know, to make it conscious, then switch it, you know, that's another work, because there's amount of things you can do physically, you know, like I've been training for 20 over years, whatever, and I still do, but I needed something next level. I needed this to be more brain stimulating, you know. And as soon as I figure out that this is all connected, it just opened a new world.
Yeah.
That's why we have. That's why we have these conversations. That's why there's a space to elevate. That's why there is everything you can find within the platform, I guess, and around me. Hopefully.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for coming into the living room.
Well, it was a nice journey from
Nice.
my room.
Loving
like
it.
what, 5 meters?
Lovely. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. Next week you're gonna hear a little bit more from my mind, I guess. I don't know what we're gonna do. We'll see. But yeah, if you like it, make sure you let Ash know with the like button, I guess, if there is one on YouTube. There is one on YouTube. On Spotify, you can give some stars, I guess. Wow, I'm super great at like promoting my stuff. Basically, if you like it, let me know, or let other people know, so we can share it and we can all grow together. I think that's the best way to end it.
Thanks for
Boom.
having me.
See you again soon.
Bye.